if you don't take control of your health, ladies and gentlemen, like if you don't take ownership of this and get your own information and really start to understand your own body, these are the types of things that we're subject to, that our kids are subjected to, is like it's literally misinformation.
Welcome to the Good Life.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Good Life Visual Audio Podcast, where we talk all things health and wealth. I'm one of your hosts, C. Muzan. I got Coach could be in the building.
Worldwide. Yes, sir.
Say what up, Coach.
What up, though? How was that? I gotta watch this. Got
a bunch
Cut
of
out.
yeah, got a bunch of nothing on the recording. Instagram might have heard you though. Instagram, that's right.
What up, though?
That's right.
How's that?
That was much better. That was much
Okay.
better.
All right.
Welcome.
All right.
We back. We back. That's right. Worldwide over here. We got people tapping in. Shout out to everybody that's watching on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook group. We're excited that you guys are here. And we're excited to be back. It's a brand new year, y'all. Happy 2024. I know
That's
you guys.
Right.
I know you missed us. We missed you too. We were around, right? Family time, holidays. Coach, how was the last couple of weeks for you, man? Check in with the people.
Yeah. What's up, people? How you doing, family? What up, though? Last couple of weeks was fantastic. A lot of ups and downs, but overall pretty good. Got to spend some time with family on both coasts down in San Diego, going all the way back to like Thanksgiving and then all the way through. I feel like I've been traveling forever. And went out to the East Coast, Virginia, 2 Up, 2 Down production, stand up. I don't see any VA folks in here. I'm a little disappointed. I don't see no VA folks. If you're from VA, let us know. If you're just jumping in, let us know where you're tuning in from. And then got to go out to Colorado, sharpen up the skiing skills. Not too many of us melanated folks out there, doing the skis. I felt like I had to represent, Ghana ski team.
Let's go.
Right next to the Jamaican bobsled team. And we stand strong in the face of adversity. Was able to improve, so felt good about that. Oh, cold as ducats. But yeah, now I'm back, ready to go, and feeling real strong. Yes, sir. Back, ready to go and ready to roll. Going through a little reset right now to kind of, I always say you feel like you need a vacation from vacationing, because we generally speaking, we don't vacation well. Right. We go, eat a lot of food, drink a lot, stay up late. Like, you come back more exhausted than you were going in. That's why a true vacation, which we'll talk about here, is the name of the game. But otherwise, feeling great, guys. Feeling real good. And the biggest skill is learning how to reset the body, and the mind, the whole entire system, and in the process of doing that now. So feeling pretty good, man. How about you, bro? How was your end of the year and the beginning of your year?
That's exciting, man. Yeah, it was good. Lots of family time, right? Lots of time to be around the family, spend time with my wife, my daughter, mom and grandma, right? Just making sure everyone's feeling loved during that time. Wife and I got some funny stories for New Year's. We we tried to go out. We never really go out, and we're up here in northeastern Pennsylvania, so there really ain't much to do anyway. But man, what a debacle that was. The hotel we were staying at got overbooked. There was a bunch of drunk people in there. We couldn't sleep good. Like, it wasn't the greatest start to the year, but the fact that I got to be around my wife was awesome. So yeah, good first couple weeks. All obviously getting back into the swing of things with business. The end of the year, some of you guys know, right, that have been kind of tapping in with us. We do a lot of planning, end of the year planning, end of the year goal set, like end of the year goal setting for the next year, really just getting clarity around what we want. And then boom, we get to execute. So it's been good. I got a chance to execute over this past week or so to start the new year off right. It's really important you hear both sides. It's important how you finish, but it's also important how you start. Right. And so starting the new year off with some new habits, with some new routines, some new goals, just more clarity on stuff, man. It's been really good. But I'm excited to be back here. The good life is such a part of our life, right? It's such a big part of our life that we got to get back. We missed out on like 3 weeks of recording, to the point where like my mom asked me, like, are you still doing the podcast? Like, is it still going? I was like,
shout
yeah,
out Mama Dukes.
I was like, yeah, ma, it's still going on. We're just taking a
Moms are
little
great,
break.
man. Nah, we gonna be doing this for a while. OG over here accused me of not wanting to do the show no more. I'm like, man, what are you talking about, bro? This thing is on my calendar.
You gotta check.
Just gotta get better. I just gotta get better at traveling. You know, my setup is so nice, as you guys can see. I just gotta get a little bit better at being on the road and recording. When I see the way it looks and it doesn't look as nice as my setup at home, honestly, it makes me not want to record. So, but we stay in here. Shout out Tunchi, Lil Wayne. You know, he said, get in the booth and record. Don't be a prima donna. Don't be one of them R&B singers. Don't be one of them R&B and sing.
Ammo.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Just record. Just record.
That's right. And that's what we're here to do. Just record. Hey, what's up in Detroit? You're Detroit Lions, my guy. Headed to the playoffs, yes? I got this.
I
think you called it.
What up, though? Detroit, stand up. Listen, man. Ash, I'm gonna need you to go ahead and pull the tape, because I came through the door and I said it before. Detroit Lions. This is the year. We already broke the curse, 1993. We already broke the curse, 1993. Hosting a playoff game like we said we would. Beginning of the year, beginning of the season, I called it. King of the North. Listen, man, I'm so excited, man. Detroit Lions really, really coming through. And listen, the NFL conspired against us. How you doing, Emily? Conspired against us. I want to hear you say no, no prima donnas. Yeah. Hey, guys, listen, if you're watching this replay YouTube or whatnot, make sure that you tune in with us on TikTok and IG Live, because we're going to be coming. We're not missing any days this year. Yeah.
That's right.
But Detroit Lions, bro, go ahead and eat your words. Go ahead and eat your words.
I don't think I said that they wouldn't. I just think you were overly excited that they would. I didn't say that they would.
You're a hater, man.
I'm not. Listen,
you're still a hater.
Shout out to Uncle Jalen, right? Shout out to Uncle Jalen. We're still
Empanadas.
What? We're still trying.
Guys, I guess I'm kind of hungry. I'm out here. I'm out here at all.
Naming food. Fast. Naming food.
Yeah. Chorizo empanada.
Oh my gosh, they actually would be delicious. But anyway,
shout out to the Lions, man.
Shout out to the Lions.
Go ahead and put in the chat. If you're live with us, put it in the chat right now. Who's your team? Who's your team? Do you have a team? If you do, put it in the chat. If you don't, that's all right.
That's right. Fly, Eagles, fly.
No, stop this. We are currently still accepting applications for the Detroit Lions bandwagon.
We're not.
But when we hoist that trophy,
that's not happening. Yo, bro, you don't even have them
application crows.
Bro, you don't even have them in the Super Bowl as your picks.
You're right. My logical brain says Ravens, 49ers, but we'll talk about that later. But right. The heart says this is the year. Michigan won, and
hey, it don't matter, because Emily in the chat just said go Eagles. That's right. Fly, Eagles,
she's been
fly,
corrupted,
Emily.
man. Stop this.
Fly, Eagles,
stop
fly,
this.
Emily.
Stop this. You know that's my sister, right?
I could tell by the last name, right?
She's been corrupted, man. Y'all need to stop. Hey, what's up, Charles? How you doing, Rick? Rick, good to see you, bro.
Calling people out.
Eagles are trash.
Listen, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about how the Eagles are going to win it all. But either way, We appreciate all of you for tuning in to another episode of the Good Life Visual Audio Podcast. Again, if you want more, catch us over on YouTube, right? We're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all your favorite streaming platforms like Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you join our Facebook group, Health and Wealth for Busy Professionals, we go live there every week during the episode. And also you can chat with us because we host cool workshops, give you insider tips. It's not just a group, it's a community for self-improvement. So get over there and join the good life. It was going to come out. It was going to come out anyway. Pause, but like.
Himbo, that's a blooper. Please pull that. Gosh. Hey, somebody just joined the group. I just got a notification. Appreciate y'all. Somebody just joined the group.
There we go.
Health and Wealth for Busy Professionals on right now on Facebook. We may be cooking up a little something different for y'all, but right now on Facebook, go ahead and make sure you hop on that Health and Wealth for Busy Professionals. You know what? Even if you're not busy, which you should be, and if you're not, we got to figure out why you're not.
And shout out to Aaron, loyal fan member of the Health and Wealth Busy Professionals group. He asked a question over there. He said, "Hey, can we talk about beginning of the year health and finance tips?"
Ooh,
absolutely.
You're in the right place.
You're in the right place, Aaron. You know where to catch it. We're here to talk about it. We're going to be diving into some health stuff in a little bit. But before that, bro, like quick word from our sponsor, quick ad read.
Absolutely, brother. See, I want to show you how over 600 people had reclaimed their childlike energy, increased their lean, functional muscle mass, and skyrocketed their mental and physical performance in 10 days or less. I also want to show you how to achieve this without having to spend long hours in the gym, tracking calories, counting macros, and taking a lot of supplements. With my 10 years of experience as a coach, I've taken everything I've learned and created the Gut Right system, which will show you the simple process to reset your system for maximum health benefits. And because it's the beginning of 2024, I'm giving away the system for free as a free gift for you. So make sure you pick that up. If you're watching this in terms live, you can DM me on Instagram, vacation, the word vacation, and I'll send that over to you. If you're anywhere else, click on the link and I'll make sure I get that to you. That's my gift to you guys.
Huge. Get your gut right in that Gut Right system, y'all. Could be coach knows what he's talking about. That's why we do this. We're in episode 147 of talking about health and wealth. You would think you could pick up some things from him. So go over there, pick up that Gut Right system, man, and get your life right in 2024, y'all. Into the segment we like to call Shop Talk.
Shop Talk. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
The Shop
Still
Talk's
working on it, guys.
It's still working on it. Listen, we're gonna get there. It's a new year, but we're gonna get there. It's a new year. We're gonna make it happen. This Shop Talk is all about the NFL playoffs. They're among us, ladies and gentlemen. The NFL playoffs are here. You've already heard Coach tell you about his Detroit Lions, which he actually doesn't believe are gonna make it to the Super Bowl, but either way, he loves them. And you already know the birds. Go Eagles, fly, Eagles, fly. I know the last 5 of 6 have not been good. We don't have to talk about it because now it's winning time. Now we're in the seat to go win. We've put ourselves in the position to go make it happen. But let's just talk about some of these matchups really quick in this segment of Shop Talk, because some of you out there, corporate athletes, yes. Regular, right, athletes, yes. But some of y'all are actually out there just betting on sports all day long, thinking you're an athlete, thinking that you got the tools and the resources to make the best picks. But let's talk about what's happening over there in the NFL. So if I run through this, here are the matchups. Week 1 coming up. We got Houston versus Cleveland. If we start over in the AFC, we got Houston going against Cleveland. We got Kansas City against Miami, and then we have Buffalo versus Pittsburgh. The lowest seed winner is going to meet Baltimore in the divisionals. But of those 3, who you got, bro? Who you got?
Houston, Cleveland. Man, that young bull over there at CJ Stroud, man. That dude is something else. But I have to go with Cleveland as a more complete team.
Ooh.
Cleveland is a more complete team. KC, Miami, Kansas City, Miami. I have to go with Kansas City. That's going to be a great matchup, though. Buffalo, Pittsburgh, I don't care. I'll go with Buffalo because I got to pick one.
There we go. I'm going to say Houston because CJ Stroud is he's exceptional over there. And I think he's going to make that happen. I'm going Miami just because I picked them all the way. And I think that Kelsey, Taylor Swift magic is over. And I don't think it lasts in the playoffs. Obviously, we've seen what Kelsey's done the past couple games.
Man's played worse.
Yeah, exactly.
He's played worse as a result of this Taylor's nonsense.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
So I got Miami for that one. And I'm gonna go black and yellow, right? I know there's been a lot of talk about Mike. What's the last name? Tomlin.
Yeah, undefeated.
Getting out of there though,
or winning seasons.
Yeah, I think this might be his last season, but I think he's gonna try to go out with a bang with Pittsburgh, and I think they're gonna top Buffalo. But if they do win, I don't think they have a chance at beating the Ravens. But it's okay. I think they're gonna skate by in this first round. So I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh.
All right.
On to the NFC. We got the Birds against Tampa Bay. We got Detroit Lions versus the Rams, and then we got the stinking Cowboys against the Green Bay Packers. Who you got?
All right. I got Tampa Bay with the upset over Philly. I got the Detroit Lions running over the Rams, and then I got Dallas over Green Bay. Holla at your boy.
Well, we're just going opposite on all of these. This might be it because definitely the Birds are taking it. Got to go with the Rams, defending champions, right? Got to go. I mean, two seasons ago, right? They at least got there, so they got some experience where Detroit has none, nada, no experience in the playoffs, none, not even a little bit. Anyways, and then I'm gonna go Green Bay just because Cowboys suck. That's right. Coming from a true Eagles fan. Cowboys suck. We got Green Bay Packers. Go Lil Tunchi. He's going to bring them out with the high energy.
I forget who won your division? Who won your division? Yeah.
None of that matters. It's winning
season.
Cowboys. It's winning season because we're in the playoffs. It's winning season, my guy.
Well, y'all don't know what that is.
Listen, neither do the Cowboys. So anyway, we just gave you some picks. Let's see how it holds up next week. We'll be back and we'll see kind of what's happening. I have a feeling my record's going to stand over coaches here, but either way,
we'll keep track. Hembo, let's make sure we get these picks out.
That's right.
Make sure we document them so we can pull this video.
That's right. On to our next segment we like to call 2x2.
2x2.
That's right. Our 2x2 segment is where we give tips and advice to entrepreneurs and business owners. Today, we're taking a different spin because there was just, over these past couple weeks, there's just been a lot going on, a lot happening in culture, in society, and people are paying attention to it. The one thing that a lot of people have been paying attention to over these past, week or so has been the interview heard around the world, Shannon Sharpe and KattWilliams on Club Shay Shay. I think it's at 35 million views right now.
Oh, no way. It should be more.
Is it? I think it was something around there.
Take a look.
Let's see. Something around that number. I know when I saw it, it was very early in, day one, first 24 hours, it was at 5 or 7 million. Then it continues to go up from there. I think we're floating in the 30s right now, but coach is checking on that. But we're going to talk about it from many different angles. One, just because there was a lot.
7 days, 41 million.
Ooh-wee. 41 million people have viewed, or 41 million views on this one podcast. People that have never heard of KattWilliams or Shannon Sharpe were watching this podcast. And because it's a cultural thing, we wanted to touch on it. There's some things that we can get from it and glean from it from a potential business or entrepreneurial perspective. But just give me your initial take and your initial thoughts, Coach, on kind of what you thought about that interview, what really kind of stood out at you. Was it stuff you already knew, stuff you didn't know? What was your take on it, man?
Well, the interview was definitely explosive. Let's say that right off the bat. KattWilliams came on there knowing what he was about to do and just unleashed. A lot of people, two things. One, a lot of people are giving Shannon Sharpe a little bit of flack for not being a journalist, and I think that's part of the appeal for some of these folks to go on his show is because he's not a journalist, but he's having a conversation, an informed conversation, but a conversation with someone. And KattWilliams specifically stated, that you've made this a safe space for people to come tell the truth. All right. And that's why he was on there. So for me, one thing that really stuck out is that there is a space for you just the way you are, whether it's an entrepreneur, whether you want to start a show, a YouTube show, your specific perspective, somebody is going to resonate, or the way that you do it, somebody is going to resonate with it. So a lot of you guys are watching this right now and you've been meaning to 2024, maybe hop online and start creating some content, share your expertise or your passion, go ahead and do it. You don't have to look like everyone else. You don't have to do it like everyone else is doing it. So Shannon Sharpe, former football player, holding this space, and now look how this thing has evolved. And guys, don't forget, this thing didn't come out of nowhere. He's been working on it for a while. All right. He's been working on it for a couple of years. He was building this when he was with Skip over at Undisputed. And it slowly came. His most popular interview before that was only like 10 mil.
Yeah.
Not only, but I mean, the pretty big difference from 10 million in like, I believe about 8 months versus 41 million in 7 days. Yeah. Right. So it didn't happen overnight. Shannon Sharpe has been doing this for a while. He takes it seriously. And that's kind of one of my biggest takes. Last take here for me is I can't verify what Katt is saying, but when somebody speaks the way he spoke on that interview, they can back up something. Right? It can't all be false. And couple that with that all of these individuals responded, but none of them disputed the facts. I found that to be very interesting. You got Ludacris over here rapping. That's cool. We know you can rap, bro. But is he telling the truth or not? Right? You got Cedric the entertainer saying a joke that Katt claims. Right? Why don't you just say it was your joke, bro? Right? Like it was. I thought that was hilarious. So clearly, KattWilliams knows something. And ultimately, I learned a lot more about KattWilliams, and he did himself a favor for sure, because 2024 is about to be a good year for him.
Absolutely.
And it's obviously about to be a good year for Shannon Sharpe, and it will be a good year for you too if you take that step forward and do that thing that you've been thinking about forever but haven't executed on.
That's huge. That's huge. There's so many angles to take with this. There's so many angles. Again, we can touch on some of the more conspiracy gossip side of things, which a lot of the internet likes to run with, right? Who knows if what he says is true? Just like you said, though, bro, like someone that talks with that type of conviction, it's hard to dispute, right? But again, there are people that know how to talk with conviction and could be telling complete lies, and you wouldn't
politicians
know, right? Did we just say we're keeping politics out of this one today?
Yeah.
But it's true.
You're right.
But it's true, right? Like there's people that can do that. But obviously there's definitely going to be some truth behind it, especially because people aren't coming out and saying anything. So his story is kind of what's going to run. But I want to take a completely different angle with it for the entrepreneurs, for the corporate athletes that listen to the show.
Let's do it.
from a business perspective, right? And Club Shay Shay, he's the proprietor of it, right? He always says that at the beginning of it, meaning he owns this platform. I asked this question, I think off camera to you, was like, man, where does he go from here? With the athlete mind, with the mind of someone that's relatively competitive, right? Katt obviously came on and was talking about how competitive he is in the comedy world, obviously. But Shannon Sharpe being a competitor, being a pro NFL, Pro Bowler. Is he in the Hall of Fame?
Yes.
Yeah. NFL Hall of Famer. I'm sure he has a level of competitiveness and a level of chip on his shoulder. And he just got 41 million views in 7 days. Where does he go from here? How do you top your best? How do you continue to get better? Is there now added pressure on him? Right? There's so much. And what do you do under that added pressure? I think we talked about this, like, who can your next guest be? And I think he posted a list or something like that of, like, Barack, Oprah, I don't know, was it MJ? It was only like 4 or 5, 6.
Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, Kim K. There's only like 4 or 5 people that can ever even potentially
LeBron,
right? 4 or 5 people that can really only get them to surpass that. And you know what happens when an athlete feels like they've hit their peak, their pinnacle, and they can't surpass it? It becomes frustrating. It becomes like this, I'm always chasing this thing, and I'm curious to see how he's going to react to that side of, like, what if the next 3 guests only get 600,000? Is it just like, oh man, like, I got to figure this out. I want to get back to this time. And again, for the corporate athletes that continue to listen to us, this is something that you really, I really think is important to know. How do you come back after you've done well, after you've hit a peak or a milestone in your career, in your business? What happens one year when you make 7 figures in your business, and the next year you make 300,000? Right? Like, how do you respond to that? And I think I'd be curious from a business and entrepreneurial athlete side of things, how he's going to respond to it. That's what I would look at.
I think that's a great question piece, man. And just a piggyback off of that real quick, in a very small way, as content creators, which we create content, you look at, I think I have had a piece of content go viral on 3 different platforms. And quite honestly, it's good, but bad, right? For a lot of the reasons you just stated. As an entrepreneur, fine, I'll take the viral content, but there's also a lot of value in having steady growth over time. You building community being one of them. Learning what works and what doesn't work, because reproducing viral content is very, very difficult, because you have no idea why everything else was doing like 1,000, 2,000, and all of a sudden this thing is doing 1 million. It's like, whoa, what happened? Like, what clicked, right? And you do kind of chase that, and everything else is kind of like, oh, it's just 1,000. Yeah, bro, that's what you were getting before. You
Right.
Just because you have one piece of content hit over 1 million. Now what? So I think, in a lot of ways, it's great, but also horrible for content creators and entrepreneurs. Don't underestimate. Don't look for that virality. Look for something that you can repeat, right? If you're doing 1 million one year and 300,000 the next year, something went wrong. Like something is off, right? I would rather have things progressively move towards viral,
steady growth.
If you had to pick, I'm not saying viral is bad, but if you don't have the buckets in place as an entrepreneur to catch that wave, and then after that you try to chase it more, it can be a frustrating place to be.
For sure. I can even see it, like, where even the producers of the show could be like, oh, let's get this person on because, right? And before you know it, he's like the next,
lost your core.
Yeah, right. Like Jerry Springer. Like, you're just trying to get someone to give you that hit again of, like, say some crazy shit, right?
Yeah.
Just say something crazy so I can get back. And it's like, yeah, well, that's not what the show was, right? And so I'm curious how he responds to it. I'm curious how the show goes from here, if the guests keep going up and the numbers keep going up, or if it gets back to what he was doing, because he had a great product before Katt, right?
Yep.
Like, Yeah, had a great show. Was very authentic, like you said, right? Created a safe space. So let's see what he's able to do. See what he's able to do. Quick another word from our sponsor. Hey, organizing and planning your financial future can seem overwhelming, especially for those new to managing their finances. The good news is there's help for anyone looking to take control of their financial future. Author, podcaster, and financial preparedness advocate Tony Stewart has developed the Get Ready Blueprint, a 52-week guide to changing the way you think about money, to empower and educate readers on topics ranging from personal finance to insurance. With simple to follow lessons, achievable and attainable goals, and helpful tips for reviewing all aspects of your finances, you'll feel motivated and inspired as you watch your financial literacy grow each week. Get Ready Blueprint will change the way you think about money and help you transform your financial future. Go ahead and go over to TonySteuer.com. That's TonySteuer.com and get the Get Ready movement today. On to the next part of our show. Let's dive into the meat, y'all. Let's dive in. You know, we've made this commitment. I don't know if we told you this, but we've made a commitment, Coach and I, to every single week that it's just us two here to dive into the fundamentals, continue to dive into the fundamentals, the basics, the foundations of health and wealth. So this week, we're going to get something on the health side of things, the foundations, the fundamentals. Coach, I'm going to toss it over to you, and you talk about this health stuff.
Let's make it happen, man. Let's make it happen. Now, if you're watching this replay, it'll be the health pyramid, right? I always shudder at the word pyramid as we have sullied the name pyramid for some reason. But it's just a hierarchy, a way of organizing this stuff in our heads. And I think this is one of the things that I found really is helpful when it comes to our health, is to organize how we're thinking about it, right? What is truly important? What is that 20% as we apply Pareto's principle? What is that 20% that gets us 80% of the results? Because the truth of the matter is, I have yet to meet a person, and probably will never meet a person who's got 100%. And you don't need it to have the life that you want to have. So what is that 20% and how do we organize it? Now we'll have this pop up on the screen, but could also get it up here real quick. Instagram, TikTok, you guys won't see it at all, but you guys can hop in the group or just send me a note and say health pyramid, and I'll go ahead and send you the graphic so you can take a look and organize it from there. So at the bottom we have the pyramid has 3 sections, as you can see. We have the energy cash flow at the base of the pyramid. We have consumption in the middle, and then we have optimization of movement at the top. Now, when I say energy cash flow, this is a very large bucket. This is at the bottom and the base of the pyramid. Now, what we want to do is build, when we're building, whether you're building a structure or you're building your health or you're building your wealth, you want a wide base, right? A deep, wide base that you can erect, right? A tall structure that will hold. If the base and the root is weak, piling on top of that is going to be very, very difficult. So in that energy cash flow, and we'll call it energy cash flow because energy really is the original currency. The reason I say that is before we had gold or precious metals that was used as money, we had a bartering system. To have something to barter, you have to turn energy into a service or a product or something valuable that somebody wants so you can trade it. It all requires energy, and that's the energy from you. So I call that the original money. And if you guys know, or I'm sure you know, there's a difference between money and currency. Those are not necessarily the same thing, Okay. And we'll talk about that another day. But energy cash flow, look at what are the things that dictate kind of where our energy is. And to keep it very simple, we have things like food, right? We all know that. And there's various dimensions of energy. There's like energy in terms of like ATP and turning ATP to ADP, it come the biological, like chemical sense of energy. There's also energy in the sense of like, I haven't eaten for a while, but oh my God, my child is caught under a car. I have no other choice but to try to lift this car. All of a sudden, I feel fear, right? And I lift. You see, like moms get this superhuman strength all of a sudden to do things. You're like, how did you do that, right? There's that dimension of energy as well. There's multiple different facets, but however you want to think about it, all of these things apply. Food is either going to give you energy or take energy away, right? Water, laughter. Now, laughter, literally the actual act of laughing, but also think about in terms of like relationships or being in a quote unquote good mood, right? Sometimes maybe you're hungry, but you share a joke or something lifts your mood and you feel like, okay, I can go on a little bit longer. All right. So there's different dimensions of energy that we're talking about here. There's sun, sleep, air, or how we interact with the air, breathing, right? And then there's movement. Now, when I say movement, a lot of people jump to like working out in the gym or running or all types of, I'm talking about moderate movements like dance, like gardening, like taking a long walk, like, or a walk. Doesn't necessarily have to be long, or doing Tai Chi, right? Not necessarily the highly young side of things where it's super aggressive and like, right? It doesn't, that's what we've come to know movement as, but you'll see people that are extremely happy, extremely healthy, are in a great space, and they never lifted a weight in their life. All right. So I think it's important for us to understand that there's the new way of thinking about health and exercise and movement, etc. There are some things there that are fallacies, if you will. Okay, there's some things there that are fallacies. In fact, there's a piece of content coming out here pretty soon. I don't know when, but you guys will probably see it somewhere where I'm talking about how the companies, beverage companies, and like if you look at the map of food companies, right, how they have hijacked our institutions of higher learning, including medical schools, our research institutions that put out studies, including, unfortunately, my own alma mater, Tufts University, and the Freeman School of Nutrition, which I went to go speak at a year or two ago. And they've also hijacked the media. And one of the main narratives that they're trying to control is our problems, our health problems, is a result of lack of exercise and genetics, not necessarily the food. Why? Because they sell the food.
Right.
Coca-Cola, right? PepsiCo, all right? Nestle, all right? They benefit from us being like, oh, I just need to exercise more and I can eat all the quote unquote bad food out there. Right. If I just boil it down to calories, right? I have a Pop-Tart and a Diet Coke. So if I go work it off, I'm fine. They've invested a lot of money to drive that narrative. And so, and how do they invest those money? Well, they give that money to the media to make sure that the right research gets out. They control their researchers because they're funded by them, right? And the research that goes out, such as the study that came out from Freeman School of Nutrition saying that in fact, Lucky Charms was better than eggs. All right. Come on. Even a 2-year-old, although they love Lucky Charms and probably don't care, could probably realize that something is off here.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you look at who funded that research and it becomes clear what's happening here. Okay. And then also the schools of higher learning, colleges, the nutrition programs at colleges, which, by the way, there's only one fully accredited nutritional school in the United States. That's Freeman, my alma mater, Tufts. And that's the research that they put out. And then the media funding what is being shown, what is being talked about. All right. Research now shows that if you have, just a glass of wine every day, you will actually be better off and your cardiovascular health will be better. I'm not refuting that. I haven't necessarily done my own research. However, really?
Yeah, man.
Really?
Let me jump in really quick because I don't think people understand how deep this goes. And we've tried to bring this to light a lot here on The Good Life, right? That's why we have the Follow the Money, t-shirts and really talking about it. But if you don't take control of your health, ladies and gentlemen, like if you don't take ownership of this and get your own information and really start to understand your own body, these are the types of things that we're subject to, that our kids are subjected to, is like it's literally misinformation. It's literally what it is. It's information backed up by people that have an agenda to feed you that information. And if you don't take control of it, really dive deep and get this type of information, you would never know. I know that we joke about this, like that Lucky Charms study, right? It's like, oh, Lucky Charms is better, right? Healthier for your heart than eggs or whatever it is, right? Then there's some poor person in Kansas, sorry, Kansas, right? But there's some poor person in the Midwest.
What you got against Kansas?
I'm just
bro?
saying.
Why I gotta be Kansas?
For some reason,
Philly. Use your
not
city.
at all. I won't do it. I won't do it because we're very smart people. Not saying Kansas isn't, but I'm just saying, right? Somebody in the Midwest. I don't know why we pick on the Midwest. It's just like I feel like they get left. They get left behind in a lot
Coastal
of
bias.
the media stuff. But there's some poor person in Kansas that reads that and then actually might believe that. Like, in all honesty, just because they don't have the resources, they don't know how deep it goes, they don't watch our show, they don't have it's actually possible. That's how we get to these places. There's probably a bunch of misinformation that might not be at the level of Lucky Charms is better than eggs, but it's also something that you might have bought into that literally isn't true, right? Again, you just made a great correlation of like, food, the food, modern food environment really talking against or saying that it's more that you're not exercising, right? It's like has nothing to do with the food. It's like the exercise part. And there's probably people that just buy into that. I've heard it.
Oh, there's a lot of people.
There's a lot of
Most
people, right?
do.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, I can eat whatever. And like I just got to work out more. I'm going to work out 7 days a week now and do all of these things. It's like, where'd you get this information? And again, that's why this is an important conversation, because if we don't take ownership of this, if we don't really dive in and say, man, what's really happening with my body in my system, not just taking it from the media or right these random places of research, then I don't think we ever get better. So I'm glad you're bringing this type of stuff to light, man.
I'll say this, man. It's not random, actually. It is mainstream information. That's what they're interested in. They're not interested in like funding random institute. No. They're interested in funding the Harvards, right? They're interested in funding the Tufts, right? Yeah, I put us in the same category, right? They're interested in getting on CNBC or sorry, CBS, NBC, right? 60 Minutes. Why would they spend so much money to get on some small network or some obscure little part of the internet? No. They want the masses, right? They want the masses. And that's what makes it even more dangerous, because let's take the piece. And I always say this, guys, right? When I first became a trainer a long time ago, the book or the test that you have to study, right, taught us these things. Oh, counting calories and tracking macros. That's the standard. That's not like some obscure thing. No, no, no. That is the standard that has been set, right? And the thing that's really interesting is, you know, it's not that it's just a false belief, which we'll talk about next in the next part of the health pyramid. It's not that it's just simply just a false belief. It's actually detrimental to our health, right? If you go eat a bunch of Twinkies and you're eating things of that caliber, okay, we're not even talking about the microplastics in our food, the growth hormones in our food, the pesticides, the glyphosate, right? We're not talking about those things yet. And those are things in good natural foods, right? In our kale, in our spinach, our carrots, our apples, our beef, our chicken. Like there's also issues over there. We're talking about the stuff that's very clearly at this point not the best for you. Highly processed, sugary foods, right? If you're eating those foods, even if you're eating the other ones, but if you're eating those foods and then your solution to recover from that is to train harder or more often, it's like taking a car, filling it with gunk, and then racing that car. Okay. You're actually doing more damage to the body by putting it in a state where it's not using the proper fuel, and yet you're trying to run it as a race car. You see what I'm saying? So it's actually more detrimental than just like, oh, it's a no. That's why we're number 5, I believe, in cardiac arrest, if not higher, right? Because if you fill a car with that's supposed to have gasoline with let's say with what?
With kerosene or something,
With
right?
kerosene or something. Yeah. And then you try to go run a race, like you're setting yourself up for bad days ahead. And that's a lot of what I see, particularly in the month of January, beginning of the year. People don't address this level that we're talking about. And they will jump to the top of the pyramid, optimization of movement, where they'll start going for runs on top of a dysfunctional base without the proper fuel, without the proper, why? Because it makes them feel good. Most people work out to aesthetically look good, but also to release the endorphins that comes from working out, release the feel-good chemicals that comes from working out. But that comes at a cost. If you're not properly set up, right? If you're not properly fueled, if you're not you're actually damaging the car, right? And that's the piece right there that I don't hear a lot of people talk about. Yeah. That's the piece that I don't hear a lot of people talk about.
It's because I honestly don't think people think about it. And I don't think people are having the right conversations, right? I don't think people are having those conversations. Just what you said about like, okay, now if the top of the pyramid being, the optimization of health. And like you said, beginning of the year, health goals, people have resolutions for their health, but they're going to go back to the gym and start lifting weights right away. They're going to start trying to go for runs. They're going to do something that is not necessarily where they should be starting. And that's why it's so important to talk about this bottom part of the pyramid, this energy cash flow. If people understood that you need to start at the simplest forms, right? At the basics, at the foundations, the simplest stuff. And I want you to run back through that list, right, of the foundational parts, because again, you guys know we're here talking health and wealth. It's the same thing we talk about on the wealth side of things. Like before you want to go off and buy that investment property, like you don't even have a budget or a financial plan or like know where your money's going or have any savings. Like you're not going to be able to get there. I know that's where you would like to go, but that's not the place you're at. And it's the same thing in your health. I know you would like to go run a marathon. That would be awesome, right? It'll put you in great health, shape or whatever you want. But like, you don't get any sunlight. You sit in front of your computer all day. You haven't had a good night's sleep in 3 years, and you're trying to get up and go right. Like we're not. It doesn't make sense for people. So
Yeah.
go back through that list, man.
And this is where a lot of corporate athletes actually further injure themselves to a point where it's tough, very tough to return. Biomechanically speaking, they're not sound, but they go out to try to ride a marathon. They are not properly fueled with the right food, the right amount of sunlight, with water, with in a good state of mind, with laughter, good sleep, air, breathing properly, and then go out and try to run a marathon. Right, that's what's happening. Right, and it's unfortunate because our society specifically, our American society specifically, overlooks simple movement as in favor of this gym culture, gym bro culture that's been pushed. We no longer look at just like dancing as excellent movement, which it is.
Yeah.
Right. It might be one of the best. All right. You're incorporating laughter. You're incorporating rhythm. You're incorporating a lifted mood. You're incorporating randomized movement rather than linear movement. Right. Squat. It's linear movement. It's just you're just moving in this plane up and down. Right. In dancing, you're moving in multiple different planes. Right. And then we fall victim to marketing schemes. Like everybody should be doing Bikram yoga. Right? Oh yeah, I do yoga. And this is, I know you get this all the time, bro. And when people find out what I do, they start like confessing, like I'm the Pope.
Right.
Right. Oh yeah, man. I do yoga like twice a week. I drink a lot of water. I do blah blah blah. They'll just start just like whoop 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 whoop, just dumping all the things they do. So, and then they'll give you this look like they won't ask a question.
Right.
But they'll give you this look like, oh, that's great. That's great.
Good?
Oh yeah. I thought so. Yeah, I appreciate it. And they'll do stuff like that.
Yeah, people do it on the finance side all the time. Like, yeah, man, I've been invested in my 401k, right? I slowed down a little bit, but I picked it right back up. I found out that like this, right? I invested in this stock. I was doing this, right? Got out of debt, but I just decided to look into this investment property, and I was like really going to put some money down, but I don't really know. But man, been doing really well in it. And I'm like, good job, man. Great job. Right? Like you don't know what to say to them because they are just like confessing it to you. Right?
Yeah. It's just confession time. Confession time with no question. Never a question.
No question.
Never a question. Like what do we talk about here? What's the expectation here? What do we do? Sure. Guys, don't do that at the dinner party. If anything, ask, hey, can I tell you a little about what I'm doing? Yeah. And get your opinion on it, or say what you say, and then ask a question. Because otherwise, I'm like, maybe I don't want to talk about this right now. Number one. Number two, what direction do you want me to go in? Right? Yeah. You go, and I'm sure doctors get this all the time too, right? At a dinner party, like, man, I've been having this pain in my left foot. Yeah, it's terrible, man. I'm considering surgery. This is what I learned is to book an appointment. Right, book an appointment, because a doctor's having a glass of wine at a party. They're not about to diagnose you that you should go get a surgery on your labrum. Right. You know what I mean? Like, no, this is not the place for that. Right. So
what up, Dougal? Really what up, Dougal? I see you over
there. What up?
Oh man.
So that's the bottom here. And one thing I'll mention at the energy piece right there is we have to be cognizant of false energy or credit energy, I call them. For example, things like, I'm going right off the bat, processed sugar, cocaine. Pretty much, they do the same thing in the brain. A lot of people are like, whoa, there, buddy. They do the same thing, right? Processed sugar, cocaine do the same thing. In fact, processed sugar has been shown to be a little stronger. Another thing that does the same thing, it's processed. Your processed sugar is processed the same way in the body as alcohol. There's the other one, caffeine, Adderall, things of that nature. But things that give you a boost of energy, but they're really just borrowing from the future. right? We have to be cognizant of those things. And we all kind of know these things. I'm not saying this isn't a good or a bad conversation. This is just a what gives energy and what takes energy and what appears to give energy, but is really stealing from the future.
Yeah.
Right. And when we're aware of that and we align that properly, because at the end of the day, as entrepreneurs, as 9-to-5ers, as parents, as brothers, we need energy to operate. That is literally the money, right? Not the currency, but the money in which we transact in life. Once we run out of life energy, once we run out of chi, if you will, we're done.
I believe it, man. It's again, it's why we talk about this. This stuff is super crucial. Um, it takes energy to go after your goals and dreams, right? It takes energy to go after the life that you want. It takes energy to do it. So this bottom part of the pyramid, this energy cash flow part, again, I think it's huge. I think it's something that, again, if we don't focus on it and we're not talking about it, we wouldn't know. We wouldn't know. And only because we do the podcast, only because I know you, right? Like, does this stuff start making sense? But had I not been introduced to this, I wouldn't know, right? I'd be one of the people, just like most of the people and the corporate athletes that listen to us, that are in some ways damaging their body more by not focusing on this foundational part in this energy cash flow and doing some of these basic things, getting some sunlight, making sure that you're laughing, making sure that you're getting sleep, making sure that you're moving your body, dancing. I was laughing really quick, and this will be my last take on this, right? But I was laughing when you said that because I was thinking about a friend of mine who I see every once in a while pop up on a social platform. And dancing is a form of therapy too, right? Like, just getting it out, right? And she is of the Caucasian persuasion, right? And might not have all the rhythm in the world, but man, does she look free and loose when she's dancing. And she's just moving every part of her body, hitting it, right? Fingers, oh, like just moving it. And just reminds me, like, man, like, that's such great movement. That's such great, like, a feeling to just dance for 20 minutes. Just in your living room. Like, she happens to turn on a camera and do it. But man, when's the last time you've done that? When's the last time any of us have just, like, gotten to a place where we are just moving our body freely and just doing, certain motions and movements that are actually benefiting us, right? Like, they're benefiting that energy cash flow part. It's giving us more energy. And I thought of her immediately when you said that. It's like, when's the last time we've been dancing? Like, these are the types of things that I think we should focus on more. So my last take for today is really that we really dive in and we really start to focus on more of these energy cash flow things, not to be fooled by the things that we think gives us energy, just like you say, coach, the caffeine, the sugars, right? The alcohol, the cocaine, whatever it is, right? Like, let's not be fooled by that, and let's get back to some of these other things that we're not focused on and see how our lives change in 2024, because I think it's a big deal, man.
Agreed, man. Agreed. And we could honestly talk about the 20% that gives the 80% of results. We should spend 80% of our time on this, in my opinion. Because if you don't have that, it's gonna be very tough to do the other two sections, which in the middle here we have consumption, just looking at what is coming in, not food. We already talked about the food at the base of the pyramid, but consumption, that the things that dictate the self-talk, the way you talk to yourself, your self-image, the way you see yourself, your belief system, right? And these are the things we look at, the things we speak, but also hear, the things we see, things we engage in, etc. I feel like that has a major, major effect on our total health. Remember, we're not just talking about being in shape or having a six pack. We're talking about total health here, and that plays a major, major role. You talk about top athletes utilizing visualization, for example, right? That is part of it. That's why it works. And then most people want to jump to the top of the pyramid here, and they want to, go for things like run. They want to jump. They want to work on things like athletic things, if you will. Athletic things. These things are important. But if you are not getting the proper food, sun, sleep, etc., like, and you're in the weight room deadlifting 2x your or 3x your body weight, like you're setting yourself up. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when you're going to get physically hurt or you're going to be drained, etc. So, guys, I'll leave you. Well, let me say, man, what's your last take on this?
Yeah, I'll give you the last take. Uh, guys, this is a crucial conversation. You know that we talk about this on the financial side of things, how cash flow is the beginning of all the things you want to make happen in your financial life, right? Whether it's more savings, more investing money, getting out of debt faster, making sure that you're properly protected and putting money away, like whatever it is, cash flow is actually the beginning of it from a financial standpoint. And I love the fact that we can correlate and go to this side on the health side of things and say that cash flow is the beginning of you building a proper foundation of your health, right? And the way that, if I'm going to give you a last take or whatever you want to take from this, is the simple things are the things that we should be focused on before we get into the complex things. In the financial side, I'll say the 101 level, right? But it's the same thing on this side. The list that could be has, right? And again, bro, I want you to read those couple things again, so the people that are just checking in or haven't or followed us all the way through this can still get a picture of that as we keep popping this up on the screen. If you're watching this on the post edit, I'm sure we'll pop it up on the screen. But these things that we talk about are the things to focus on. They're the things to focus on. And I believe that they're the things we actually don't focus on at all, right? But it's what we should. So
Absolutely.
It's a huge part, man. I always want us to get back to the foundation and the fundamentals, and I think this is the best way to do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And at the base of that pyramid, guys, the energy cash flow section here, we're talking about things as our interaction with the sun, sleep, breathing, food, water, laughter, or community, whatever you want to put there. And then basic movements. And we're not talking about lifting weights, etc. We're talking about primitive movements, if you will, dancing, gardening, tai chi, long walks, etc. And guys, there's usually, right? I've yet to meet anybody that naturally just breathes perfectly, right? We talk about a lot of mouth breathers out there, right? Because of issues going on. There's a ton of issues with the water that we're taking in. There's a ton of issues in terms of how we approach the sun, etc. Right? So there's a lot we can talk about there because we focus there, whether you are LeBron James, whether you are you work gym and accountant, or you're an entrepreneur. We all need to focus on this because guess what? If LeBron messes up this section, he won't be playing. He won't be playing 21 years in the NBA.
That's right.
All right. He already talked about how he doesn't play with his sleep, how he doesn't play with the way he talks to himself, etc. So, guys, if you new year, you're looking to start, right? You don't know exactly where to start. The place to start is not to start tracking calories and counting macros and going to the gym and doing the lifts that you did as a high school athlete in football or basketball. That's where a lot of people will start. They think I just need to go to the gym. No. I've got a resource for you that tells you exactly where you need to start. It's called the Gut Right Handbook. It's about the Gut Right system, where I've documented and compiled 10 years of experience, things that have helped me and helped my clients, and giving you a clear place to start. Reach out, DM me the word vacation. You'll see the link on YouTube, wherever it is that you are seeing this, and let's go ahead and get that in your hands so you can get started, and you can always reach out in the Facebook group as well and ask questions, and we'll be more than happy to make sure that you get started the right way. The right way. I paid a price for not for doing it the traditional way. And I'm here to tell you there's a better way to go about it. And it's not necessarily just set in stone. It's a system in which you can figure out what works for you. That's the difference. So guys, I appreciate you for joining us this time. Look forward to seeing you next week. We're excited to get 2024 rolling.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your time this time. And until next time, peace, peace, and peace.
There you go.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Good Life.
If you enjoy this episode, please take a moment to subscribe and like our channel.
If you have any feedback or suggestions for future episodes, please leave us a comment down below.
If you're listening to the podcast audio version, we appreciate you just as much. Thank you for tuning into the Good Life Show.
We believe that everyone has the potential to live their best life, and we hope our show helps you get that one step closer to achieving your goal.
If you know someone who would benefit from our show, please share it with them, and thank you for your continued support.
That's it for another week's episode here on The Good Life. We'll see you next week for another inspiring conversation.